Discussing about Boolean, and in our previous class we discussed about strings, integers, float, and double. So today we'll be talking about Boolean. Boolean looks at true or false. So you need to understand that Boolean works with other variables, right? So sorry, with other data types. So you could actually use your strings and your integer. Okay, so I know you might actually be confused at this point, but I'm going to explain better. So now, another thing you need to know is that we have what we call operators in Java. So operators are used for comparison, right? So we have equal to when you say something is the same. Let's say a red shirt is the same as a red trouser. That means they have the same color. So when you're saying it's not equal to, use exclamation mark with the equal to sign. But when you're saying something is the same, you use the double equal to sign. So let's say you are saying something is less than, use your less than sign. And then we have greater than. We also have less than or equal to. And then we have greater than and equal to. So we use these operators for comparison, right? So I'm going to explain about this. Let's say for example you have an integer a, and let's say a is 5, integer b, and b is 6. So now we'll try to use our if statement. I know you're not familiar with the if else statement, but in our next class we're going to discuss about the if else statement. So now let's say if a is less than b, I want system to print true, else system to print false. Now just take a look at this. Is a less than b? A is 5 and b is 6. We already know that a 5 is less than 6. So let's run our code, which is true. But what if we say a is equal to, is this true? It's false because 5 is not the same as 6. But what if we change this now to 5? Let's see what's going to happen. It's true because 5 is the same as 5. Now you need to understand something else in Java, right? So when you're comparing two values, you don't use the single equal to sign. Because when you use a single equal to sign, you're reassigning a value to another variable. So let's just highlight this and let me explain what I'm saying. So let's say you say let's say b, let's change this to 15, and then we say b is equal to a, and then let's print b. Let's see what's going to happen. 15. So when you use the single equal to sign, you're saying I want this variable name or this variable to hold this particular value that I'm assigning it to. So this equal to single equal to sign means you're reassigning a value to that variable. So you always have to make sure that you're not using the single equal to sign when comparing two variables. So we're going to take this out, and then we'll go back here. Okay, so we're going to still continue with our operators now. So let's say it's not. So we know that a is 15 and b is 5. So is 15 the same as 5? Okay, we know it's not the same. So when we run our code, certainly it's going to print true because 15 is not the same as 5. We're telling system, the if is saying that if this thing is true, I want you to print this out. But if it's false, I want you to print this out false. That's what you're telling the system to do. So what if the situation was saying that 15, A is greater than B? What do you think is the answer? True, because 15 is greater than 5. So if we change this to less than, we're certainly going to get false, because 15 is not 15 is not greater than 5. So like I stated earlier, we could actually use other data types when looking at the Boolean data types in terms of comparing two variables, if it's true or false. So we could change this to a string, right? So remember again, integers are numbers, strings are words, and strings always come with a quotation mark, a quotation, sorry. So let's say A is hello. We change this to B is hello. Okay, so now it's actually throwing an error, because when you're looking at words, right, we're not looking at the, we cannot compare two words, right, in terms of greater than. But if we want to compare the length of this, we could actually say dot length, right, and then dot length. That means we're converting it to numbers, right? But in this scenario now, we're looking at, so let's say, okay, let's just use the length first. So let's say the length of this is less than the length of B. So let's look at the length. Remember in Java, the length is, in terms of indexing, we start with 0, but in terms of length, we start with 1, right? So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Certainly the length is 5, but when you're looking at indexing, we'll start with 0. So is 5 the length of A less than the length of B? What do you think? Let's run the code. It's false, because the length of A is the same as the length of B. So let's say, is it equal to the length of this? Let's see. It's true, because hello has a length of 5, and B, which is hello, has a length of 5. But what if we add hello John? What do you think? It's false, because hello John. So when we're counting in Java length, right, we also count the space we've actually kept here. So we kept a space, if I'm correct. So this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 and 5 are not the same. So in a situation whereby we're not looking at the length, right? So we could actually say we're looking at the word. Let's say we're saying if hello is the same as hello. That's, we're looking at the word, right? We're saying that hello. So we're going to print true, and at the same time we're going to print A plus B. So if this is true, if A is equal to B and this is true, that's what we're saying, if hello is the same as hello, I want you to print out true, and at the same time I want you to print the A, which is hello, and the B, which is hello. So let's see what's going to happen next. So we can see this is it, right? So what if in a situation whereby we change this to a capital letter? This is false because Java is case sensitive. So in Java, a small letter and a capital letter are not the same thing, irrespective of the word being the same. Java is always case sensitive. For example, if we change this public now to capital letter, you see that it's to throw an error. So um you have to make sure that you you're aware about the case you're using, if it's lowercase or if it's uppercase. So you should note that Java is case sensitive. So that's all for today with respect to Boolean. Okay, have a nice day. Thank you.